All right.
You know, I was going to say that if we go this way, we need to lose our viewers out there. I think I need to sequence discussion so that we don't upgrade it up front and then we don't have issues, because there's too many points here that if I want to address and respond to them, I'll take about 30 minutes to do that.
Let's take it easy. Thank you. Mr. Divo, the budget as it is, with the pressure that is appearing to be coming from the outside, yet there's pressure from within. How will this work out?
Let me first of all, answer, put my take on what Alan said initially, why the budget is late, and how as much as possible, how it has been structured in such a manner that, by May, we're talking about budget passing. I think that people need to understand that public sector workers must be placed on some measure of performance structure. And I said this because this is the recurrent accident. Because I just don't think people are thinking these things through. If you pass a budget by May, just as you said, the whole quarter is gone, and this is not the first time. What it means is that you and the government has been running, because government is a continuum. It means that you're doing the appraisal and anticipatory approvals, and that brings this pressure on it. The second thing I want to talk about is that there has been this issue of reducing the cost of governance, and I was thinking that this budget would have been one document that would have shown critical government intention by policy to deal with this issue, and that means that one will have been looking at the fact that if there are aircrafts, you will say you reduce them, or government is going to match with Nigerian Air Force and carry our government base, because those guys are already there anyway. You're going to look at the rest of your reports and you're going to say, so what, we are gaining some, and by that is affecting also how much of budget to the MDA because I've collapsed this ministries and departments of agencies. I was thinking that some executive action policy will have influenced the numbers we're saying in the budget. Now, having said that, I think that there must be a performance a contract with public sector people. Just the same way I work in our office, that the budget has to come out we need to pass it by December, so that January can start, you can hit the road running. And if you don't do so, somebody gets the query. This thing happens every year, and there is no punishment whatsoever, no penalties. Next year again is going to happen. And then the third one, which I want to mention here, is this may sound a little bit radical. I believe that we need to change things fundamentally. You can't pass a budget that another government will implement. I find that ridiculous. By May 29th, this government, I call it a down government, is going off. Another government is coming in. I will be shocked with the kind of expectation, with the kind of challenge and hope that Nigerians have on Buhari, his integrity, and with the people he has put together that will work with this budget. I doubt it.
So should
there must be some, and that's why the National Assembly should come in. You must be able to tweak our constitution in such a manner, or laws, make some laws in such a manner that the last year of any government, you have to manage this budget in such a manner that you can only budget for what you're going to do. So what do you radical? But you just have to do something, because then we'll come back. These guys have a lot of ideas. These guys have a lot of strategy. And by the way, strategy is not what you do in the morning. Strategy is what you do today to influence what will happen in a year, 2 or 3 or 5, 10 years time. So these guys have a 4-year time to recalibrate this economy, recalibrate the policy, bring policies and strategies that will fundamentally take a shift from where we are. They call themselves the progressives. You will see a lot of things that are almost at variance with what is going on right now.
So what do you envisage will happen come or after May 29th?
I think they will come back to the National Assembly with a supplementary budget.
With a supplementary?
I think there's no doubt about it. If look at it.
I think that you share the same opinion. Well, I think that you cannot disagree with the fact that you shouldn't have the budget approved. You can have a budget because you see you have the current expenditure that has to go on, and so you cannot say, look, for instance, if you want to now take it really the way you just said it means that really you want to pay salaries and wages. You are waiting for the new government to come in. What we expect to happen is that the new government will come in, and we expect that they look at it, they've made some promises and so on and so forth, and it take them some time. By the time we are talking about this is 5, 6, 7 months in the year, and we expect them to come at the end of the day to do a supplementary budget. But I didn't accept the fact that, because we're going to have a new government that's going to come in during the year, and so it means that the government that's outgoing, and you don't even know if it's going to be outgoing, because you're going to have elections. And you have an election, you don't know who's going to win. And so because the government is going to be outgoing, so you don't do a budget. You do a budget. In fact, I think we should commend the National Assembly that they have the sense of responsibility to make sure that a budget is put in place. Knowing that, like you did say, that it is a transitional budget. That I'm not government, but it was even Jonathan that won the election and was coming in. It's still transitional. Now you now have APC coming in. It's even more. Because they come fundamentally in the sense that they have different perspectives on issues. Yes.
Yeah, but suppose this budget had been passed, say...
But I don't go back to the things you said, because earlier, that's what I said. But let's go on with this, because I want to address the issue of the fact that somebody increases the budget. That I prepare a budget as a National Assembly and they increase it. Who is preparing the budget? I think that this matter is fundamental. It needs to be discussed. As if the executive was the legislator who has responsibility to prepare the budget in this country. We need to make sure that this is settled.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure that the general impression among those of us who are not economists is that everybody is written to send their input to the budget office before the budget is then put together. So how come the input from the National Assembly was not sent to the budget office to be included in the general thing that we're not making changes after the budget is sent to them?
They have a budget office.
Yeah, so their input should be sent to the...
No. If you do that, you're not dealing with the issue of separation of powers. It is the job of the national... That's why they need to develop competencies and capacity within the National Assembly to be able to judge what the executive has brought. If you let them bring it in, then this is something like temperance. So let's we didn't
even after the budget is sent to them, they can still make corrections. They can still tweak it.
What I'm saying is that the National Assembly has a budget of the absolute one. That budget office, and of course I know them. They will hire the best. So what I'm saying is that if you do that, if you subject the National Assembly to what Congress people bring from the executive, you take away. The National Assembly is supposed to. They're supposed to judge what they bring in. What they will send to them really will be in terms of preparing the whole budget. But when the budget comes, it will still be subjected to the scrutiny of the National Assembly. That's their job.
Yeah, but most of the time it comes in and it is increased. Have we ever heard of it being reduced?
Never. I think that this should be done with the budget office. Yeah, I think the fundamental issue in the sense that you said people, the departments, ministries, and so on, send submissions. I think the one of the things that fundamentally, I'm concerned about the process, the procedure. Fundamentally, we begin to do zero-based budgeting. But what you do to another extent is incremental budgeting.
Which means what?
Zero-based is that you get back and say, look, what are the things that we're going to do this year? And then you can have incremental in some aspects of the budget, in the sense of salaries and wages and charges, and you can say, look, we paid this for electricity this year, next year, let's make an estimate. Because what's the rate of inflation, let's make an allowance. That's incremental. So you do that, yes. But we have to get back. Part of the reasons why you have abandoned projects and so on and so forth, you have a new government is coming in, and it comes in and you don't have that discipline, don't show discipline, even that budgets have been abandoned because money is not being assigned. It's because we do not go back and say, look, what is it exactly we are doing? And also, we should have a reading plan. We should have a 3-year plan, so that it's not just every year you come as if you're starting afresh. And so we have what we call medium-term expenditure program. This is supposed to be a 3-year program.
But we have that program.
Yeah, we have, but to what extent? To what extent it does it dovetail into the budget we prepare. And so what should happen is that if I have my medium-term expenditure program, which is a 3-year program, my first year of that program and that budget for the first year should be the same, more or less. And I expect that the changes that I will make, I'll now go back the subsequent year to go, what is second year in this medium-term expenditure program? This is what the content is. To what extent are we now going to change this content? And so that's continuity. Now, you find one of the problems we have in this country, why we don't, you have plans, we don't implement them, it's because that linkage between the budget and the plan is not there. And because it's the budget, the annual thing that drives the plan. It is the budget that drives the medium-term expenditure program. And so we don't have a sufficient discipline to say this is where we are, and let's go back and make sure that where this is driven.
Okay.
But when you got that, lots of issues. I talked about this. Who does the budget? I think this is very important. If, like we did say, if the executive each time very nearly it submits its budget to the National Assembly, it comes out increased. It's never reduced. Now, who has the responsibility? You look at the assumptions. That's why I go back to the preparations. That these things will have to be fundamentally looked at to make sure that there's some collaboration. It's not a question of somebody abdicating their sovereignty, independence. No, it's not that. Well, I'm saying that there has to be some, so that, look, this is what we're doing. Let's look at it. Let's have a team composed whereby we sit and look at some of those things together.
What's the job of the budget office if you're still talking about getting a team to look at the budget before you do it?
The budget office will drive it will coordinate. It's not, so you bring people to discuss. My friend there, what's his name? Right, Kogu. We will coordinate the process to make sure that we look at some these are things we are doing, those are the assumptions we are making, and then how does that what are the things concerning the project we can bring them in